Hello and welcome to the second knockout round draw for the UEFA Europa Conference League for the European teams who are, how you'll say, shit. Is now the want to thank for his assistance this evening, ex-footballer Max Smodov. Thank you. And the first team out of the hat is, away from home for the first leg, of course, the Queens of the South. And they will play FC Kobenhavn. Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain, and welcome back to Queen of the South on the Impossible Dream as we look to win the Champions League with our Scottish club. It is Season 4, it's Episode 10 today, and we will be facing FC Kobenhavn over 2 legs in the Europa Conference League second knockout round. A place in the quarterfinals awaits us, and, well, if you want to have a look at the other teams that are in the draw there, there's a couple of big-ish I mean, I think we got about the kindest draw. Maybe Molde would have been a friendly one, or FC Utrecht maybe, but Karabag perhaps. But there's some big-ish teams that are in there. And, yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see if we get past Copenhagen, who we get. Now, another bit of good news, if we just scroll back up to the top here, is we have extended the loan of Fabian Luizzi for next season. So he will be back again next year. We're going to work on something for Shakir Omar. There's just a little bit of a disagreement as to exactly what those terms are going to be. But it appears that Atalanta are willing to loan him back to us. We just need to figure out exactly what terms we're going to have. But we're only paying 1,600 of his wages for next season. Now, this season we were paying or maybe we're only paying that this year as well. I thought we were paying 4,000. I'm sure we were paying 4,400. We were paying a bit more than half of his wages. But anyway, that's all beside the point. Luizzi is back next season, which is absolutely huge. Now, there are some games to catch you up on since last episode. Our new look, of course, Queen of the South, as we look to nail down a starting 11 as well as a formation that works for us. And the first of those games in the league was against Ross County. The only goal was an own goal at the end of a goal-mouth scramble. So, if ever a goal summed up a game, that was pretty much it. We just about did enough to deserve it. You can see from the XG that we were the better team. We did deserve the win. It was a bit of a rotated side, certainly in midfield. And, I mean, Clockety and Bishop went up front. And, yeah, we just about did enough to deserve the win, I'd say. And Hamilton, our new defender, made, I think it was a debut in this one as well. So good to see him involved in a clean sheet. Next up, it was in the Scottish Cup. We beat Alloa Athletic in the 4th round, Motherwell in the 5th round we had up next. Now, of course, the last 3 seasons we've gone to Hampden Park for the Scottish Cup. Let's see if we can look to keep that tradition alive. We fell to a first half header. Oh, we were absolutely robbed in this one. They went down to 10 men as well in the first half. You can see from the XG, they offered absolutely nothing from the moment of the red card. We laid siege to their goal and we just couldn't find a way through. We gave a debut in this one for our young Brazilian centre-back. We gave Smith a game at left wing-back to really just trying to get an attacking player out there. And, well, he played well. He played well, just couldn't get us across the line. McAllister up front was terrible. It maybe over-rotated a little bit, but the Hampden Park tradition, it takes a year off this year, unfortunately. So with that disappointment, we were hosting Rangers. Let's see if we could, we'll avoid further embarrassment, if not disappointment. We took the lead early in the second half when Bermudez's shot came back off the post for Shakir Omar. And it was 2-0 moments later when McGrath found Bermudez in the penalty area. Before Melbourne picked out McGrath to put us in dreamland. But we allowed Rangers a late consolation. So we were absolutely brilliant in this game. Look at the XG tracker. First half was a non-event. Second half, I'd go as far as to say we played them off the park. We were that good. It was, I mean, even Max Melbourne played well. It was a really, really good performance from us. So long may that continue. Luizzi off the bench made his first steps towards his recovery from injury. And I couldn't be any prouder. It was a really, really good performance. We smashed them. It was so good. The final game to catch you up on in the league was against Dundee. So less to say about this one. Finished 0-0. We should have won. We just couldn't score. We actually played quite well, I thought. Bermudez missed a couple of, I don't want to say sitters, but certainly shots you'd expect him to at least put on target. Luizzi, this was basically the team I think is going to play in Europe, less a couple that aren't registered. So Clark and McCallum were making their comeback from injury, so we got 90 minutes or some minutes into their legs. Luizzi got the start, got 90 minutes. So it's maybe we've taken a bullet there just to try and be better for the Copenhagen game, but again, we should have won, so disappointing to drop points there. If we have a look at what all that means for the league table, it is a 13-point gap to Hearts. I realised last episode that it was a 12-point gap, not an 8-point gap, so I'm just a little bit slow, but we already knew that, I think, or suspected it. I'm sure some of you anyway. So we're sitting in 4th. You can see the gap back to 6th is now 10 points. So I'm fairly confident that we're going to be in Europe. We're going to be 4th or 5th. What we are not going to be is 3rd at this point, I wouldn't have thought. We'd rather be 4th than 5th, because I imagine if the cup is won by a team outside of already in the European places, which is unlikely, let's be honest, in Scotland, but it could happen, then I'm assuming 5th in the league would not be a European place. But we just want to make sure that we're in Europe next season, and we should, fingers crossed, be good enough to be able to do that at this point. But we are focusing on Europe today. It is Copenhagen. Let's have a look at this first leg and what we are doing in it. And this is the team we're sending out. We're expecting a 4-2-3-1 formation from them. And, well, it's more, I think it is it our best team? I'm going to say it's just about our best team. It's Eastwood in goal, McCallum, Lewis, Bernard, and Clark as the back four. McPherson, Davenport, and Goss in midfield. It's McGrath, Shakir, Omar, and Lutzi hoping to provide the goals. A reminder, if you're wondering why some players don't feature here, Andy Irving is not registered in the squad. Neither is Bermudez. So that's why Goss and McGrath have come in. But I mean, Goss is okay, but McGrath is absolute quality, so no problems there. You'll notice a bid here from Bradley, 600,000 from Mallorca. We're trying to get a bidding war going, but if 600,000 is what we have to take, I mean, we're absolutely mugging them off if that's the case. Alright, so we can see the team sheets there. Mark Albrighton, Mustafi, Ollie McBurney. It's like a who's who of Premier League. Oh, that's not fair. That's not fair, because Albrighton was a good Premier League player. The others, maybe not so much. But anyway, let's have a look and see what we are doing here. Rasmus Folk's a pretty good player too, I think, isn't he? The pressure's on them. Let's go out there and cause an upset. I can get on board with that. Now, there are no away goals in Europe. Let's all remember that, because I certainly didn't earlier on in the series, did I? Of course, it wasn't this series. It was the Manchester United series. This is our first season in Europe. What was I saying about being a little bit slow sometimes? But yeah, so there we go. There are no away goals, so it doesn't really matter if we get any. Ideally, we'd like to go home with a lead, but we'll take what we get. I think it is an advantage playing the second leg at home, more so now perhaps than before, that there are no away goals, because you're in front of your home team, as home fans I should say, as long as you do a decent job in the away leg first up, there is got to be an advantage, because even if it goes to extra time, you don't have to worry about an away goal sort of counting twice against you. So the draw has been kind to us in that sense. I'm looking at the way they're setting up, and I'm wondering if what we actually might want to do is look for the overlaps here, because the middle of the park is fairly well congested, isn't it? We have, we've got 4 guys in there, and so do they. So width might prove to be a useful thing for us. Now, we do have McAllister on the bench, and we know Luizzi can play out wide. I'm wondering if maybe at some point we want to look to use wingers in this one. Bradley could play as a winger as well, couldn't he? Bradley down the right, McAllister down the left, Omar through the middle. I mean, there's absolutely nothing happened in that half at all. Oh, wait, I spoke too soon. Can we get a late goal? Good ball to the back post. Oh, it was over the post, I think. The goalkeeper didn't get a hand to it. It was the last action of the first half. And, well, we could very easily have taken the lead. Okay, so let's take the pressure off us. Let's pump our fists. Say go out there and prove you've got it, whatever it may be. And you know what we might do is let's not look for overlaps. Let's just look to exploit the width. Let's get the ball out there quick. And if that doesn't work, then we might be in a situation where we need to change things up just to try and get something going here. If we're looking for positives from this game so far, we haven't seen much from them, have we? So if we can take it home, I mean, it could be a tie, never mind a game that's settled by the single goal. And, well, I'd imagine both teams have players that are capable of providing that one moment. And we've got a little bit of defending to do here. Ollie McBurney, it is saved by Eastwood. Well saved as well. Eastwood has had I know you guys suggested I replace him, and I was looking for a replacement. And we still would like an upgrade at goalkeeper, but Eastwood's been nothing sort of superb this season. Not a down for McGrath. Oh, and Jamie McGrath, who has been scoring for fun this season, has missed what is essentially a sitter. And there's a header. Oh, and that's off the bar as well. And is it Luizzi again, or is it Lewis? It might have been that time. We have had a little spasm of attacking flair there. Can we go again? Luizzi. McCallum. Back to Luizzi. To Davenport. He goes a nice cross-field pass, looking for Clark, finding him. First time pass there for Omar, whose shot is blocked. And is it going to come back the other way now? Omar stamps his way in and wins the ball, apparently. Clark, can he get across in? McPherson's with him. He goes back to Davenport, to McGrath. This is some nice football now. Oh, it's the 1-2. McGrath's found himself through on goal. And again, he can't find the back of the net. We've had chances, haven't we? This tie, arguably, should be almost put to bed at this point. It's another ball in, another header away. McGrath picks it up to Bernard. Back to McGrath. Crossfield pass. Goss on the chest. McCallum has a little bit of space, but he kind of just peters out at the end. And do we want to do anything different other than find the back of the net? Could Colby Bishop have a role to play in this one? I'm wondering if it's not McGrath's day in there, if there are chances falling to him. I wonder I know what we could do. Oh, don't. Oh, I'll tell you what, Eastwood again. All right, here's what we're going to do. Goss is just not quite having a great day. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring Bishop on for him. We're going to move McGrath back. Bishop can play in there just as an attack. I don't think we want him playmaking, do we? He's not the greatest playmaker. So let's just get him in there as an attacking midfielder. And just drop McGrath's creative ability a little bit further back. Oh, and that's another save from Eastwood. That might have been a foul, was it? I missed. That looked suspiciously like he was getting up, like a whistle had been blown. Is there another chance in this game for us? Clark is going to start things off with a throw-in. He's looking for McPherson, can't find him. And are we going to pay a price for that? Lewis has been turned. Oh, and Falk has hit the post. Well, we've been unlucky with hitting the post twice, but we've got a little bit of luck back there. And can we give it a demand more? Maybe not the Sharks, since I've been taking pressure off them. But the second half has been a lot more entertaining than the first half. And in stoppage time, we've got another highlight. Bishop has it now to McGrath. Lewis has McCallum in space. McGrath to Bishop. Here we go. We've got players getting forward. Can Bishop pick one of them out? He goes back to McCallum. There's the cross. Shakir Omar's pulled off the defender. Shakir Omar in the 93rd minute has given us a lead to take back to Scotland with us. It's 1-0 to Queen of the South. And, well, Shakir Omar was in acres of space in the end. Defender has clocked off. Is it Mustafi? No, it's not, surprisingly. It's a cracking header back across the goalkeeper, and Shakir Omar, once again our saviour, and that is going to be a lead going back to Scotland with us. It was an even game, but in terms of highlights, we didn't see that much from them, and we could have scored 2 or 3 more. So we can see the other results from the early kickoffs there. Braga at Mulder did turn out to be a weak side. Rangers put 5 past Sheffield United. But we don't care about them just now. Eastwood, 3. He was good again, wasn't he? Really, really was good. And, I mean, it's not as if he's a stunning player in terms of attributes, but he's a team leader. And does he let us down? I don't think he does. Certainly not this season anyway. Look at that European rating, 7.55 and over a 7 in the league. I don't know if I've ever had a goalkeeper in FM for years and years that has averaged over 7. Maybe that says more about the rest of the team than it does about Eastwood. Anyway, guys, wait right there. It's a game against Hearts, a big game against Hearts in the Premiership. I'm going to play through that because ultimately, even if we beat them, we're still 10 points behind them. And we'll be back for the second leg. And could we get ourselves into the last 8? Okay, welcome back. Now, before we get to this second leg, there is a lot that's happened in a week of football, I tell you. Now, bad news to start with. Luizzi, another injury, 5 to 6 weeks, thigh strain, injured after sprinting. Maybe something to do with the fact he's just coming back from injury. And above that, you can see Davenport, a gash lower leg, and he is out for up to 3 weeks. So it must have been a massive, massive gash out of his leg. So that is the bad news. We're without both of those guys, needless to say, for this second leg. But more on the good news. We have a new signing confirmed for next season. That is a Tom Bayliss midfielder that we've signed on a free transfer at the end of his contract. $2,400 a week as a squad player. Let's have a quick look at him. He's not fully scouted, but I think we can see enough there to think he's right-footed, a very, very good right-sided Mazzella. My plan for him is that he will sort of replace McPherson as the first choice in that role, but I think he could play a number of roles in midfield without too much of a trouble. So yeah, really, really think he's going to be a good signing for us. Free transfer as well, only 25. So yeah, a lot to like about that one. And a lot to like about this as well. Connor Bradley, 600 grand. He is off to Mallorca. We signed him on a free transfer at the end of his deal for Liverpool last season. Of course, he'd been on loan with us for a season or two before that. He was unhappy. He wanted to play more. And to be honest, I'm more than happy to sell him for 600 grand. That is magnificent as far as I'm concerned. And the final piece of news is that Omar Bermudez's deal has become permanent. He had to play 10 games to trigger the automatic deal, and that has happened. So he will be joining us for £325,000 at the end of his current contract, or the next transfer window, I should say. So yeah, he will be with us for as long as we can keep him. So that is very, very exciting indeed. Now, speaking of very exciting, we have a game to catch you up on against Hearts. They are 13 points ahead of us in third. Let's see if we can cut that gap down to 10. It took until stoppage time for Cochrane to find Bermudez in the penalty area. So a massive, massive result for us. We were slightly lucky, perhaps. You can see from the XG tracker, we were not existent in the first half. We were better second half, but over the course of 90 minutes, they did probably deserve to win it. But we nicked it in stoppage time, and it was a completely rotated side as well. The two new centre-backs, Hamilton and Augusto, kept a clean sheet. Melbourne, who is starting to play well, just when I'd written him off as a player, his form is really, really picking up. So that's obviously good. It gives us another option at left back we are increasingly able to rely on. And if we look at what that means for the league table, it does close that gap down to 10 points now. Still very, very unlikely we catch them, but at least we've given ourselves a chance. And we're 11 points safe in Europe, and we're definitely at this point mathematically safe for the split because there's only 3 games until that happens, and we are 13 points clear of that. So it's going to be another top half finish, and in all likelihood, a return to European football. But we want to keep this European campaign going. We are about to host Copenhagen in the second leg. Now we're expecting again a 4-2-3-1. We're expecting that last game, of course, and that's not what we got. This is a team we're sending out. We've had to make changes with those injuries. So Eastwood goes in goal. McCallum, Lewis, Bernard, and Clark will continue to be the back four. McPherson, Cochrane, and Goss will be midfield. It's not our strongest midfield. The reason I'm playing Cochrane ahead of some others is basically he has that link up with Goss, and we have to play Goss for his left foot. We don't have to, but you know what I mean. So it's going to be McGrath, Shakir, Omar, and Bishop. That will be the front three. The bench is Doohan, Hamilton, Melbourne, Bradley, of course, who is now officially off. Hopefully he will keep performing for us. Lyon, McAllister, and Clockerty as well. All right, so we can see the second leg lineups there. It looks very similar to their first leg team, doesn't it? And let's keep it going. I think just keep ignoring the praise. Just nobody read the papers. Just get out there and do a good thing and hopefully get through a European tie. Now, of course, if we are to get through this tie, we will end the episode with a draw, which I think will be basically the draw up to the final. So we'll see a path, if there is to be a path for us to reach a European final. And we should start to talk about Viewers Player of the Year nominees as well. So whoever you think has been our best player or your favourite player this season, make sure you let me know, and we'll start to get that list together. I think once we go out of Europe, given that we're out of the Scottish Cup, there's not too much to play for. We're sort of playing for 4th or 5th in the league, it looks like. So the season will probably wind down relatively quickly. So, I'm obviously, I don't know yet if we get through if we get through this tie or not. Hopefully we do, and we have a little bit more to go. But yeah, let me know who you think has been our best player so far, or you can nominate more than one best players or your favourite players so far this season. McCallum. Oh, the goalkeeper has made an absolute meal of it, and Sam McCallum gets his first goal for the club, but surely that's an own goal. What is the goalkeeper doing in the first minute of the game as well? And McCallum, it was a terrible cross. I don't even know what he's trying to do with that cross, and the goalkeeper has just completely misjudged it. And it's 1-0. Wonderful stuff. All right, let's see if we can go and run up a little bit of a score here. You can't give McCallum the credit for that goal. Come on. McGrath with a ball through for Shakir Omar. Can he double that lead very, very quickly? We've given the defender a chance there. Mustafi gets back. And it gets a toe in. Let's give them some praise. Again, a reminder, there are no away goals. So if they were to score 2 to get level, it is level. They wouldn't go ahead. Still don't like that rule change, but well, I'll give it a chance. In real life, I don't like the rule change, I should say. I mean, in this, it's great. It works for us nicely. Yeah, I think we'll have to give it a chance in real life and see how it affects games, but it doesn't give teams much of an incentive to attack away from home, does it, really, especially in the first leg. So, yeah. I think first legs might be a little bit crap, but maybe second legs will be better for it. Time will tell. There's a good ball through for Bishop. Bishop goes to chip. Oh, that's magnificent. Colby Bishop with an 8th of the season. He is a very, very good finisher. I don't think we've quite seen the best of him compared to what his attributes are and, you know, the sort of player I thought we were getting. I thought we were going to get somebody who could potentially be the top goal scorer in the league, but then we got Shakir Omar, who is just that. But that's a stunning finish from Bishop. He is one player that I think is going to be, well, certainly in the next season or two, he's only just on, if he's on. I think maybe the fullback was playing him on over here. I think he's one of these guys the next few seasons that's going to be a very important squad player for us. He's useful. He can play in, Shakir Omar. Why did it have to be Shakir Omar? And how serious an injury is that? All right, well, we can bring Clockety on to play up top. That's not a problem. It's not Shakir Omar, but it's not a problem. It gives him a little bit of exposure to some football as well. But that could be a massive sour note, couldn't it? And we're already struggling up front. We know Luizzi's gone again for most of the rest of the season. And now I'm already trying to figure out what we do about that. We can't play with one up top and wingers. There's a good ball in. Oh, the goalkeeper's having an absolute mare. Bishop has his second. But someone do the merciful thing and either shoot the goalkeeper or sub him off, because he's just not at it today. All 3 goals, would you say? Maybe not the second one, that's harsh, but certainly 2 of the 3 he is directly responsible for. It didn't look a particularly difficult ball to pick up, did it? What's his match rating? How do we see that? It's 6-6, it's right there. I mean, that's being very generous to him. Maybe the game has logged the first goal as him being lobbed, perhaps, which is why McCallum's got such a good match rating. But yeah, I mean, 4-0 up on aggregate, 3-0 on the night, of course. And, well, this is looking very, very comfortable all of a sudden, isn't it? We will say don't get complacent. We've played now, what's 90 plus 45, whatever that is, minutes of football, and we really haven't seen much from them as an attacking force. They hit the post once, didn't they, in the first leg? But outside of that, we've not seen anything from them. I mean, Copenhagen are a decent team, aren't they? European team? Certainly at this level in this competition, I would have thought so. Because you see them in the Champions League group stage, and they're competitive in that. Again, this is real life, and we're sort of, 4 seasons in now as well, so... But for them to have the likes of Mustafi and Albrighton, yes, they'll be a little bit older now, won't they? But they're still decent players. Especially on Football Manager. I remember when I played, if you've been with the channel, this is probably my first year doing it, when we played as Arsenal, and that's a decent strike. It is one back, and we don't want to maybe count too many chickens just yet on the hour mark, but maybe this end is cursed as far as goalkeepers are concerned. But yeah, he's a little bit unlucky that it's fallen straight to the player there. Maybe that's harsh on Eastwood. I don't think you can blame him too much. He got a decent punch on it, didn't he? But yeah, I remember playing as Arsenal, and Mustafi was the best defender arguably in the league, but certainly in our Arsenal side at the time. So yeah. FM wise, he's quite decent. Did I hit demand more there? I think I did. Thankfully, though, there hasn't been too much of a reaction from them scoring. The clock continues to run down, and McCallum would have booking. I wonder if we bring Melbourne on for him just to try and protect him from a sending off. Now, what I don't know is if he was where he stood in terms of a suspension anyway. But I don't. Oh, it's not the best pass from Goss there. Now, if they were to get another one with 9 minutes to play, you just start and worry a little bit. Do I need to confirm that change? No. But this is looking comfortable now. I'm going to call it 3-1 on the night, 4-1 on aggregate. There might be another goal either way, but it's not going to make much of a difference. The thoughts now turn to Shakir Omar and that injury. How serious is it? Can it please just be a bruised ankle? Bishop, 2 goals. I mean, it was a good performance from us, but I can't get past Shakir Omar's injury. So there are the other scores. So Köln, Rennes, Osasuna, Anderlecht, Braga, ourselves, Rangers, and Wolfsburg are the teams that have gotten through. And of those, I mean, maybe you look at Braga or Anderlecht as the ones that you'd like, but there's not... Yeah, it's difficult to say, isn't it? Now, this injury, this Shakir Omar injury, 3 to 6 weeks. So we're going to be struggling for this next tie. We've got $500,000 for that, which is excellent. What are we going to do? That's going to be one for me to figure out. I'm not going to sit here and try and think it through now. I'll end up with a headache. But guys, before we end the episode, let's find out who we've got next. It's going to be a quarterfinal, semi-final draw. So we'll be back for that. All right, here we go. Now, a couple of things to catch you up on just very, very briefly here. It was a new gate receipts record for that last game, so that's excellent. 180 grand. What's that done for the finances? 6 million again. So, considering we haven't got the Premiership prize money yet, we're still $1.5 million in credit. So that's all looking very, very nice. But we've got a draw to worry about right now. It'll be a quarterfinal and a semi-final draw. So we've seen the teams that are available to us. I think Anderlecht or Braga of those are the ones that I'd like. Rangers is first out. They get Anderlecht. Osasuna get Wolfsburg. That's probably a good draw for us. FC Köln get Rennes. So we're going to get Braga. And we're going to be away from home first as well. So that is just about, let me know what you guys think, but I think that's just about the best case scenario for us. So, well, if we were to get past Braga, who would we get? And this is all very hypothetical now. I almost don't want to know. Rangers or Anderlecht is probably the one we'd want, isn't it? And that's not who we're going to get. So we would get the winner of FC Köln or Rennes. So we will avoid the German or one of the German clubs, Wolfsburg or Osasuna, till we get to the final. And it could be an all-Scottish final yet. But that is getting ahead of ourselves, isn't it? But guys, that'll do it for today. If you have enjoyed that, make sure you hit thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. We will be back next time. Again, we'll do the European doubleheader against Braga. And that's a little ways away. It's about a month away, is it? So we might actually luck out here and get Shakir Omar back for that. There must be an international break in there somewhere. So this could work out for us yet. We might get away with this. But anyway, guys, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time for the quarterfinals. Take care.